Hello everyone. In today's fictional creature's profile, I'm doing is of an arachnid, and that is meet Arachnarok Spider, or a colossal spider, is the largest of the many giant spiders that infest the wild woods of the old world, and is often used as mount and mobile ranged infantry platform by forest goblins and green skin armies. The Ragnarok spiders is a high unstoppable predator, bigger than the Empire townhouse, in the depths of the forests where the light of the sun never penetrates. The gargantuan eight-legged monstrosity stalks and entraps whole beastmen herds, as well as larger prey, such as giants or sigors. After incapacitating larger creatures with flesh-dissolving venom, and a Ragnarok spider will drink up the liquefied inwards innards of its paralyzed but still living quarry. Man-sized victims were wrapped into a web casing by hundreds. So potent is the venom in Ragnarok's webs that a few hours into it went in its silky mass will reduce a man into jelly-like morsel of putrefied flesh, a potent, a protein-rich puddle ready to be consumed. The Arachnarok spiders have been known to ensnare the entire population of villages foolish enough to build up its dark, some forest abode. Despite its bulk, the great beast can work noisily to encircle a helmet within a web thicker than the orc's arms. None can escape, then lazily the creatures will feast. Since goblins first entered the primeval woods, have been preyed to the spiders that dwelled within the arboreal confines. The goblinoids adapted their customs to the woodlands environment, becoming the pursuers of the forest goblin tribes known today. They soon found the pack of giant spiders could be defeated and, over time, could even serve as mounts. The larger gigantic spider could be fend, fend off, and if their brooding were captured, these could be a hand fed and turned into great steeds for powerful leaders. However, no tribe could stem the onslaught of an Arachnarok spider. Luckily, these titanic beasts are rare, as their appearance spelled a horrible end for an entire tribe, or, at best, a rapid move of camp with many a fearful backwards look. The goblins reasoned that since the powerful arachnids could not be defeated, perhaps they could appease eight-legged totems. Fictional, with webbed skills, began to appear alongside the traditional idols of Grok and Mork, the forest goblin shamans, having recently discovered the hallucinogenic venom of thinner spiders. Talked about the many faced, faced eyes of feastier from beyond. The tongue swollen purple from a bite of tiny mouth mites, the shamans turned to worshipping the spider god. The tribes followed their shamans in sub in supplicating themselves, and the spider newt was born. Although Grok and Mork were not forsaken. In the black thickest of the endless forest, the spider soon ruled the supreme forest goblin shamans, led gruesome rituals, and the tribe offered elaborate sacrifices. Who knows what thoughts, if any, occur behind the multiple eyes of an Arachnarok spider? But the eight-legged behemoths did not attack forced goblins' camp surrounded by spider totems. Some crept to the edge of the firelit clearings to watch the tribe wave the spider dance and offer gifts to warm blood into instead instead of in hungry kings of spiders. Embodied some shamans dared approach their living idols. Many tried to communicate and were summarily eaten until finally the mystical properties of the small purple skullback spiders were discovered. By chewing on enough of the bulbous plum colored savory, a shaman either died a twitching and horrible death or entered such a state of shock that new vista and mind path into the great beyond were opened. The, the rhythm of the mind numbered forest goblin shaman will enter an Arachnarok. The great spider will sway back and forth on hunched legs, the image of tiny twitching gobbo reflect in the black orbs of its many eyes. Under the hypnotic spell, the shaman discovered they could communicate, if simple terms, of an Arachnarok. The ravenous dedication of the Arachnarok were ended, and the forced goblin shamans learned that with enough bribes of fresh blood, they could call out such a beast instead of fleeing from the deep wood behemoths. Forced goblin tribes began purposely seek out and encamp near the Arachnarok's lair. There the tribe profaned the beast sacrifices and used shamans to coax the enormous spider out should a formidable enemy draw near. The worship spider grew even more blatant due to the non-stop supply of blood-rich offerings. Many spiders began to remain in their darksome holes as still screaming food was thrown into their pits. Over long periods of time, some Arachnarok spiders no longer needed the, the shamanistic rituals, having grown tolerant of the forest goblins. They even allowed them to scurry about their hulking bodies, treating the goblins as if they were young broodlings. They needed to be carried upon their spiny backs. Great stick of howdahs were created on top of the beasts, using green saplings and copious spider silk twinklings to build battlements and platforms from which they shoot.